Hello, everyone. You're welcome to the Cloud Journey HQ, and this is C to the YRIL, aka Siri Verify, and you're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome. If you're just joining in, please feel free to subscribe to this channel, and if you're returning subscriber, you're welcome for joining in once again. So today, I just want to show us how we can leverage AI while we dive into the world of cloud computing. So you can actually use AI to do so many things, right? It's not necessarily you need to go into cloud computing with AI. So with ChatGPT, or you could also use Gemini from Google or Bard from Google, which is initially Bard. So you could actually use that to go into cloud computing as well. And I'm going to show us a walkthrough on how to get started into that. So should you have plans to go into any field in IT, um, in the coming year, which is 2025, I'm going to show you how you could write some prompts that could help you scale through in this journey. So what I'm going to do is I will just come to my tab, then go to the ChatGPT website. So I think it's chatgpt.com. So when it opens the website, it may ask you to log in. So you get to keep track of your history of your search, right? So this allows you to keep tab of what is going on um, based on your previously asked questions. So ChatGPT kind of helps you to document all those past um, prompts you must have given it in the past. So I think it's very, very good you sign up instead of just using it from the ground up without your details on it. All right, so ChatGPT already gave me an environment for me to put in some text. So you could just um, click on the message and it allows you to type the prompt you want. So let's say, for example, how you could actually ask ChatGPT, for example, how to get started into Azure Cloud Computing in 2025, right? So let me just ask, uh, okay, so I think I'm having this issue here. Okay, I want to get started. Oh, my keyboard is acting up. Okay, I want to get started into cloud. So you have to be specific. So I'm actually going to use Azure for now, right? Azure Cloud Computing in 2025. So should you have plans to also go into UI UX, or you have plans to go into front end development and maybe data analysis or something like that, you could actually leverage AI tools. It's kind of flexible, right? So what you give AI is what you get. So how to get started into Azure Cloud Computing 2025. Now, when you drop this, you've already given the prompt. So let's see what AI gives us. So it's going to populate, it's going to check probably from your own history of your questions you must have asked previously. Then is going to then fetch those responses. So why I ask you, or why I would suggest you to sign on, right, is for it to be able to understand your person, right? You giving it this prompt. So you need to understand your person generally. So it doesn't really give you something general. Like it's going to give you something specific based on what you've been asking. So that's why I would suggest you sign in. Don't just use the free platform like that without your details on it. All right, so now if you look at this properly, it's still populating some of these answers. However, we can see very well that you already have some details showing right here. So yeah, it said getting started with Azure Cloud Computing in 2025 involves a mix of understanding cloud fundamentals, leveraging modern tools, and accessing update resource. Yeah, step-by-step tailored guide tailored to current trend and future needs. So if you look at this properly, it's not going to just give you the fundamentals, but it's going to also give you the step-by-step guides and also more like, should I say, a time frame how you can span up your training or learn going forward. So if you look at these, first it's going to give us on understanding cloud fundamentals, right? I have a video on this particular segment where I talked about the IaaS, the PaaS, and the SaaS, right? So I have this video on my YouTube channel. So if you actually want to do this for cloud, you could check my YouTube channel where I provided the particular session on IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and also some software as a service. All right. So then you're going to also learn about the core component, which is the virtual machines, the storage, the database, and also networking. But then AI is one of the greatest services that has been coming up right now. So if you check, I think Google, Gemini, um, Azure Copilot, and even the I think AWS Q Deploy or something like that. So these are like very big AI tools coming up right now for cloud computing. So I would really encourage everyone to like really go more into AI side of things because it's going to really help in future. So now the recommended resources are the principles of cloud computing. Yeah. Then Azure for Beginners step-by-step guide, as you can see that. So these are some of the recommendations that ChatGPT is giving you. You could actually still ask Gemini to make some comparison at the long run. So it kind of help you to know truly what you have in stake or what you have to really prepare for going forward. So now set up an account. So I think this is more like a challenge. So if you're a Nigerian, your Naira card might not be able to work. I don't know if some banks do that, but yeah. So they have some restriction from CBN. So you could actually use your dollar card if you have a dollar card, and I think you can choose to also use more like a virtual card. So if you have a virtual card like cheaper, I think you should be able to do that on AWS. I don't know if it also works on Azure. So with that, they give you about $200, right? So you can then get started with that because it gives you opportunity to run some of your applications, right? So that was what I was advise you because I would advise you also get hands-on, not just learning the theory part of things. So the next thing is when you've been able to carry out get the subscription, because I know it's a free subscription actually. Um, you get to use that for like some personal training and development. And going forward, what you may probably need to get to is to try to acquire some certification. Now, certification might not really get you the job, but then while you're preparing for certification, you get to do some project, right? So you getting hands-on learning kind of gives you the ability to be able to defend yourself when it comes to some technical interviews. So that's why certification actually helps. But it doesn't really give you the job, right? Because a lot of people can actually pass certification by cramming some questions or some answers. But what really make you stand out is the fact that you can be able to deploy maybe virtual machines and say, okay, I want to know why this custom script is not working. I want to troubleshoot why my guest agent is failing. So you having to get some hands-on knowledge actually helps you in the long run. So if you are to get some of the like the fundamental certification, like you have in my pitch in this environment, you notice that we have the Microsoft Azure fundamental, which is the Easy 900. So it covers just the basics, right? So it covers Azure services, the pricing model, and also about support. Um, though going forward, there are more advanced exams to write. That's if you want to really go into DevOps, which is the Easy 400. You want to go into a developer side of things. There's a what do you call it? It's 204. But then my track is in line with what this is showing here because I did is 900, then followed by 104, which is more like the intermediate side. Then I was able to do 400, which is for the experts uh, area of DevOps, which is easy 400. All right, but then your paths may be different ones, so you just need to know what exactly do you want in Azure. All right, so focus on in-demand Azure services. So I wouldn't say you should just go learn Azure like learn everything in total. So you should just focus on what particular area do you want. Do you want to learn Open AI? Do you want to just learn how to use Copilot? Do you want to learn how to use maybe how to deploy virtual machines and orchestrate them, create VMSS instance, and see how you could automate these instances through maybe through Terraforms or using DevOps tools, right? You could actually just get a particular area. So you could actually focus on maybe in the infrastructure side of things, the software side of things, or the platform side of things. So you should have a focus area, and while you're having a focus area, you should also know the part that is in demand. Like I said earlier, in 2025, everything we're going to be hearing about cloud computing is going to be more of AI. So like, in the recent event by AWS, there was like a new tool or a new services called deploy queue. So it's more like an AI applications as well that is going to help in the long run. Microsoft already has their own, which is Copilot, and they are doing so many amazing things with OpenAI and Machine Learning Studio. So just get to know what is in demand, right? So for DevOps, you see we have CI/CD pipeline to use Azure Repo, Command Board, and also collaboration tools like GitHub and all the stuff like that. So you also need to just have an idea about all those things works. Then this also lets you know that there are many tools in Azure. So, but what makes you stand out is having to know what is in demand. Yeah, because you can't learn about 1,001 of those tools, but having to know which of them you actually need to solve a particular problem is actually what is necessary for you to get your your seat at the table when it comes to cloud computing in 2025. So I would advise you to get to know what's in demand. So if you look at these for serverless, it's Azure Function and Logic App. So if you were going to DevOps, for example, you should be talking about CI/CD pipelines, talk about collaboration tools, how to use GitHub Action. Yeah, so you should also talk about how you could deploy stuff from Azure Repo and all the stuff. So, but if you're going to cloud security, so cloud computing is kind of vast. You should be learning about Azure Security Center, Azure AD, and Sentinel. So these are some of the Azure services that gives you more in line with the Azure security side of things. So, all right. So, practical hands-on. So, for you to go into practical, there are actually free save sandbox for Microsoft as well, and there are pre-built ARM template for deploying common workloads, like you can see. So we have app services, creating virtual machines for hosting, configuring blob storage in Azure. So this is like more like the practical side. So what I actually intend to do going forward, I already have like 10 projects that I talked about in the last video, and I intend to carry out a video session on each of those projects. So going forward, I plan to have each of these hands-on practicals on my videos. So should you have plans to get started into cloud computing, you don't really need to go from one video to the other. We just have like a playlist where you get to understand first how to deploy app services and how to deploy website from your maybe from your Azure repo or from your CI/CD pipeline or from your GitHub, all those kind of environment, right? So it kind of gives you that basics. Then you get to then go to deploy from maybe Azure storage, maybe create a blob storage, map your file share and all this stuff. So like all those practicals kind of help you in the long run. And engage with Azure community. I think this cannot be overemphasized. So you just need to engage in community. So there are many Azure communities. Like I think there's AWS Community Builder, right? A lot of people go for that event. There's also Azure community from Unilag, and there are some organizations as well that kind of bring Azure into place. So you could actually go for this meetup. You get to meet people like you, and you also get to develop yourself at the end. So I would suggest you also try to attend some meetups. It's going to help you to connect with people and also to have more like an accountability partner in your side of field as well. So you also need to develop soft skill, right? So something about cloud computing I've learned in the previous years is that you are going to be dealing with humans, right? So you're going to be dealing with maybe clients and customers, right? So you should be able to know how to tell a story, how to give hard messages, how to communicate properly. So with that, those soft skills can actually be problem solving skills, how to manage your time, how to do a good project management scenario. Um, so, for example, you have the crucial issues, and these issues might be related to networking or booting issues with Linux, non-boot issues with Linux, or even programming related issues on scripting, for example. So you should actually get to understand these soft skills. Very, very important. Then also you need to stay up to date. Yeah, because I think cloud computing is one of the highly evolving area of technology today, because today you could actually see one particular tool, but tomorrow it can be upgraded. So because of the fact that cloud computing is internet based, so they get to update every of the services with a very short time frame. Yeah, so you just need to be updating yourself with so many articles, content from the right source. Also, there are actually blog and podcasts that actually do this stuff. So you could actually still go and study probably from Cloud Academy. Uh, just have continuous learning, and you could actually get some courses from Coursera. I think there are some courses on Coursera that are free as well. You could get some course from Coursera, also from CS50. It's going to also help me in the long run, and EDX. Um, I think the night one we have here is to explore career opportunities. So in cloud computing generally, there are so many opportunities that are out there. You could actually become a cloud engineer. You could become Azure solution architect, DevOps engineer, which is very very cool stuff. Data engineer. So I think one of the major career opportunity a lot of people are downplaying today is the AI ML specialist. So I think in 2025, a lot of people will be diving into the AI ML specialist. One, because of the fact that almost everything we are using today actually use LLM, which is um, large language models. So like your ChatGPT, your Gemini. So all these stuffs are more like AI based, and a lot of people are trying to understand how prompt engineering can actually come into place when it comes to cloud computing. So for the fact that these are more like new technology, it's not that saturated. So if you actually know how to do some AI thingy, man, you're good. So it's not saturated, and you're more like you're distancing yourself from other people that are actually just doing the whole kind of cloud engineering, DevOps, and all that stuff. So you gotta have more leverage when it comes to stuff like this. So uh, it's a welcome development for you to get started into that, and I believe it's going to really help you in the long run. All right. So lastly, we have here is platform like LinkedIn, uh, Microsoft Careers, GitHub for networking and job hunting. So yeah, ChatGPT also give us some of the platform that we can use for us to get started into our journey in 2025. Um, then by combining certifications, hands-on experience, like I said earlier, certification won't get you the job, right? It can only just put you in maybe in the interview stage. But when you don't know how to do some hands-on project when it comes to technical interview, I think that was what you actually have the challenge. So you also need to get some hands-on experience, right? And also carry out some community engagement, and you also set up yourself for success in the Azure ecosystem come 2025. So I would like us to actually grow together. And one last thing I also want to let us know is if you want to go into cloud computing, like especially my own side of field, which is infrastructure as service, where you need to deploy stuff like virtual machines and compute resources, right? Um, I would advise you to learn some scripting language, right? So I have one of my, should I say, my mentor when it comes to cloud computing. So she's GPS by name, and I'm going to share you the YouTube channel. So it's going to help you on how to program using Bash scripting, and you get to see how you could write some script and how it's going to help you in the long run for you to carry out maybe automation tasks or custom script application. And also, I also would like you to understand how to um, write some commands on Linux. So if you don't have basic idea on Linux, I'll also encourage you to learn that. I think there's a website that teaches on Linux for free. So you could actually go to maybe I think Linux Journey. So I think this should help you. So when you search for Linux journey, it's going to like populate the search. Then we see still going. Okay, so let me see Linux um, journey. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, so you could actually use this just to get started in Linux because aside just learning clouds, most infrastructure, to be sincere, they actually deploy most of their stuff on Linux, right? Not just Windows. So if you intend to go into DevOps, for example, you intend to go into infrastructure side of things, like infrastructure as a service. Sorry, don't mind my side of things thingy. All right, so you need to understand how Linux really works, how Linux operating system works in general. So this is more like a getting started guide on how to use the command line, how to carry out your basic Linux, install Linux packages, and also when it comes to permission and all that. So linuxjourney.com can help you with that. And yeah, so let's see what we have. I think that's all about that for our ChatGPT walkthrough. So if you also want to go for just want to learn about the Bash shell scripting I told you about, I have this amazing cloud MVP from Microsoft. Oh, sorry, I'll show you mine. Okay, so yeah, here's what I have. This is GPS. Kinet. So GPS is one of Microsoft advocate when it comes to cloud computing, and she actually has like a YouTube video session, or should I say, a playlist, where you get to learn about beginner on Bash for like 1 to 20 of those are series video. So you get to learn about all these things, differences between the terminals and shell. So all this should help you to understand how Bash shell work. If you know Python, fine. Yeah, you could also know Python programming, but then we'll be using more of scripts, right? Maybe how to understand YAML, JSON, and all that. So Bash shell, Bash, understanding the Bash environment and understanding how you can script using Bash is going to also help you for those of you going into infrastructure as a service side of things in cloud computing. So yeah, if you've actually gotten to this stage and you've not subscribed, I believe you must have understand one or two things about cloud, and I would really like to solicit your support to just go to your um, subscription icon, then click on subscribe button. Yeah, so we can actually grow this channel. We're actually growing, as you can see, and we are dishing out amazing content. So I would really, really like us to make this a reality. Let's see how we could actually make a very, very good remark for 2023 4, and see how we can actually grow this channel in 2025. Thank you once again for your time. I do appreciate, and I can't wait to dish out content on those 10 projects that can actually make you scale through going forward as you dive into cloud computing. I do appreciate again, and let's grow this channel. Like I said, hit this like or subscribe button, like this video, comment, and also don't forget to share to your amazing folks that are interested into this cloud journey with me. See you and bye for now. All right. Okay.